What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Netflix new documentary reality series Unlocked, a Jail Experiment. Let's rock this. Okay, I guess you can file this one under both categories of documentary and reality TV, because there's a little bit of both elements in this one. It's like a combo, if you will. And you know how it is. Even if Netflix says that this is unscripted, you gotta approach it with a grain of salt. Because as you will see, as I have already seen from these episodes of this so-called experiment, there are moments in which the story manipulations are as clear as day. Meaning, deliberate efforts thrown in here and there just to make the drama interesting. But yeah, immediately after Netflix granted me the screeners, as soon as I read the premise, I was like, oh man, I had the same reaction as all y'all when you watched the trailer. And that reaction is, damn, this is not gonna end up good. Open doors policy inside a jail unit, allowing the inmates to roam free and walk about all day? Nah, this is a stupid idea. It ain't gonna work. But the problem with that reaction is that it comes from the perception that guys who are in prison are animals. So thoughts of that show Oz, remember that one? Or that movie The Stanford Prison Experiment? It crossed your mind, so you quickly go to the worst possible case scenario. At the same time, the idea or the concept captured my curiosity. This is unlike any other prison reality show on Netflix, where they just usually showed the most brutal prisons in the world and that's it. This is something different. This is something unique. And so I started watching Unlocked, a Jail Experiment, and by the time I got to the final episode, I was hugely impressed. Again, we don't know how much of it was really unscripted and how much of it was actually staged, but I find Unlocked, a Jail Experiment to be absolutely fascinating. It's bold, it's raw, it's provocative and intense. This is a truly addictive show. Unlocked, a Jail Experiment chronicles Sheriff Eric Higgins' radical attempt to transform incarceration at his detention facility in Little Rock, Arkansas. In a groundbreaking social experiment, Higgins shocks the system by unlocking the doors of a unit filled with felons, stripping away the usual authority of deputies, and entrusting agency and responsibility to the detainees themselves. Through candid interviews and unprecedented access, Unlocked delves into what happens when inmates are given autonomy rather than being kept under lock and key. With newfound freedom comes a chaotic power struggle between younger and older inmates, all jostling for control over how the unit should run. While some choose to maintain order and rebuild their lives with the newfound freedom, others seize the chance to flout authority and indulge in illicit behavior. As tensions escalate and conflicts unfold, the daily struggles and triumphs of both inmates and staff comes to light, and Sheriff Higgins is left to decide if his experiment can be implemented into his facility indefinitely. Hey, please click the join button below to become Rama Screen members. By doing so, you will help support this channel and you'll also get lots of perks. So click on the link below to join Rama Screen membership today. So there are a total of 8 episodes. Each runs about 30 to 50 minutes per episode on average. Before I go any further, I just want to point out something shallow and superficial. One of the prison deputies on this show is a very attractive female guard named Deputy Owens. I mean, okay, I see you, Owens. Damn, hot damn, you are too beautiful to work in that environment. Okay, where were we? Yes, you see, we generally put bad guys in prison because we cannot trust them to be part of our society. So in this case, Sheriff Higgins is essentially putting that trust back on them. Or should I say he's entrusting them to conduct themselves, to organize themselves, to form a community by way of this psychological operant conditioning, where the only punishment is if they fuck up, then the rewards, multiple rewards, get taken away. No more dog treats for you, so to speak. When Sheriff Higgins said in this docu how the prison system in the Scandinavian countries succeeded in changing human behavior, but ours here in the United States are unable to, he has a point. He might be a bit naive somewhat because the culture is different here compared to the Scandinavian countries. But he is correct in that doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, is just not working out. So when he said that, I'm like, oh, this guy is a progressive. Firm and wise and cautious, but also open-minded and thoughtful. He is not a leader who rules with an iron fist. An argument can be made that, well, how much reality is this really when you have cameras everywhere? True. People tend to not be themselves when in front of the cameras. They tend to pretend or they would put on an act. But hey, after all, this is a show, right? And throughout the course of these 8 episodes, turns out this particular detention facility houses some of the most colorful, eccentric characters you'll ever see on Netflix. My favorite is Randall, aka True Story, because he has the most larger-than-life personality of them all. But everybody wants to be the one calling the shots. And it gets super crazy because they settle disagreements by putting both people in a room and letting them literally fight it out. The part that I like is when the inmates all band together because some of the newbies are disrupting their harmony. Harmony may be a too hippie word to describe it, but by episodes 4 and 5, that unit seems to create for themselves a system and a level of understanding that seems to work. Maybe not working 100%, and the wheels may not be turning smoothly, it's still rough around the edges, but there's a sense of solidarity and camaraderie that they've built there, and so any new negative vibe that comes in, they have no problem kicking it out. And that's when the reality TV aspect of this documentary goes into high gear and makes it look like shows like Survivor or Big Brother behind bars minus the immunity trophy. The stories on each episode are riveting and there are many moving components in each story, from contrabands to extended visiting hours to individual testimonies that surprisingly tug at your heartstrings, while others are shocking and devastating. There are some scary moments too when they lash out and butt heads and curse off like a sailor, and the whole thing are just captivating. I can't look away. Don't get me wrong though, I would not want to be in the same room with those guys. I probably would not survive half a day. But Unlocked, a Jail Experiment is kind of like one of them wildlife documentaries, where you just let the cameras roll and the stories will surface or present themselves sooner or later. And it's highly effective in generating empathy for those people whom our society deems or quickly dismiss as unforgivable. For some of them, this is a fascinating redemption arc. So yeah, overall I give Unlocked, a Jail Experiment the rating of 4 out of 5. I'm gonna be honest with you, I had my doubts at first. But maybe this could be the model for when America wants to be serious about prison reform. One thing is for sure, this show makes me want to see a season 2, hopefully focusing on a different unit in that facility or perhaps other detention places. It's definitely nothing short of intriguing.